For those of you listening on the pod,
welcome in hour 2. All right. Before we shift gears, we're going to talk a little. We're going to talk a little. Emilio's like, I got the soundboard tonight, baby.
We got Dollar Store Tim. We got Dollar Store Tim here with Emilio.
Before we move into a little like, all right, we already talked about how the contracts are kind of laying out moving forward. We're going to get into a little bit. Let's just take a quick glance. Not going to spend a whole lot of time on the upcoming draft board. I want to give a shout out to somebody real quick. Rick Kruger. You see him in the chat sometimes. I don't know if he's been in here tonight or not. He texted me the other day, said, hey, I want to send you guys a package. Where do I send it to? So I gave him.
Oh, that's the one. Okay, yeah. I kept trying to give you. I was putting your email on there, put the phone number on there.
Right,
I was like,
right, that was him. Yeah.
Okay.
Guys, if you could see what he sent a ton. He said it's just from his collection, like it was a no big deal. I'm thinking we're going to get a couple cards, and look, everything's greatly appreciated, right? There are so many cool autograph rookie cards that he sent. I'm talking about like over 20 that we're going to be doing in giveaways. Like stuff like this. LVN, right? You got Javon Bullard. And now here's the other thing. Here's some Kingsley and Akbare one. I mean, there are tons in here that we're going to do as part of our Patreon giveaways moving forward. Okay. Awesome. Here's what's crazy. He also sent 3 separate packages, one to me, one to Tim, one to Emilio, one to Jacob. So 4. Numbers are hard in Kentucky. And I opened mine. Mandy said, you want to open Jacob and Emilio's? She said, I could package it right back up. And
Mandy!
But he sent me an autographed Edgerrin Cooper rookie card.
Dang.
Bro, it's so I just want to say, our listeners, Mr. Larry did this. I think Bates done it. There's too many to mention, right? We appreciate everyone, but Greg in Green Bay shows up at our Airbnb. Man, here's the best cannolis in Wisconsin. You're welcome. Like,
I slammed so many of those. Greg. You have no idea.
Packer fans are the greatest on the face of the freaking planet. And I just love the community that we've created. So shout out to Rick. I didn't want the show to get by me without saying that. I cannot thank you enough. He may be pissed that I even mentioned his name. It's probably in the text message. He probably said, don't mention my name. But sorry, bro. That's the way it goes. So, yeah. Greg Rice, don't let Excelio chew the corners.
How are you supposed to taste if it's good? That's how you see if a card's good, Greg.
Chewy's another one. Chewy in and out of the chat at times. I think he made a donation or wanted to make a donation. It's like, I feel bad. Hey guys, we appreciate the offer, but they're not taking no for an answer, man. So thank you guys so much. Y'all are awesome, man. That's like I said, shows for the shows for the fans, by the fans. It's just it's an awesome community we've created here. So Randy says Packer fans are the greatest in every. I mean, it's so true. It's so true. Emilio, were they not awesome at the draft, dude?
Unbelievable who they even the security guard remembered me because of my sombrero. We went through the same gate that next day. He goes, "Oh, hat guy, how are you?" Like, and dude, we just walked right through. He just looked at it real quick, gave it right back to me, and we were off, man. And that's just like from the top down, just unbelievable. Unbelievable. And I think Wes and Mike and Wes were talking about that, even from literally like the security detail and the security people all the way up to, Mark Murphy, the NFL, Roger Goodell, that whole experience was just incredible.
Yeah. And the, who is it? Robert here. Robert messaged me earlier and said, he said, he was asking, where could he find the video of Emilio on draft night? And I said, I think it was early Friday night. He went and found it on NFL Network. And bro, it's hilarious. I wish I could show it, but it's on the app.
With me just shaking the sombrero. I got
to see it shaking, and then all of a sudden you see this little head going. It was awesome. So what a great time, man. What a great time.
I had a good spot. I had to take advantage. It was a little rainy, no one wanted to be up front. I'll take it. Who was I in between? Chris Sims, right? I think that's who I was next to in the maroon suit or whoever it was, but I'll take it.
I'm still cracking up. I could still see Jordan's face when y'all got back. And they were over there forever, and we were already doing the show and everything. And she stopped in the kitchen, and she looked exhausted. I'm like, Emilio wore her out.
Yeah, for sure. We were back and forth. I was up into the bowl, back out, up, down, go
like
back.
Like a rat on acid out there.
Yeah.
Unbelievable stuff.
Couple trips to the tent, had to get refills and stuff like that.
What'd they call that again? What was that tent called?
The beer tent.
The beer tent, yeah. So that's pretty cool. All right, anyway, let's jump into a little bit since we talked a little salary cap. All right. Let's take a look at next year's draft.
Amelia, read the chat. You got to get caught up in the chat, buddy.
Oh boy.
It's nothing. It's just it's cute humor. All right. It's nothing to.
Oh wait, but to this, Clay, you missed this one.
Yes.
I just read you spread my sheets.
It's taken out of context. The 2026 draft.
Oh, that's right. Chris the Casualin. Let me do this real quick. Chris the Casualin's a man of his word, right? We had the little friendly wager where
only want the donuts when they're in season.
A couple dozen of Krispy Kreme donuts. All right. So it was about the 5th-year option, right? I said I think that they'll smack at least one of the two players, Devontae White or Quay Walker, or both, with a 5th-year option. He didn't think they would hit either of them with it. So obviously Devontae White gets a 5th-year option. Therefore, I won the bet. And what I said is we're going to donate the 2 dozen Krispy Kreme donuts to a listener. Now, it's going to take some trust out there, okay?
I listen.
You don't listen to anybody.
No, we should donate it to the homeless and give it to AFM.
Unbelievable.
Dude.
This is why we can't have nice things, Jake. This is why we can't have nice things.
Neither can AFM because he's homeless. But.
Maybe we'll do a Patreon giveaway one night and just spin the wheel, and whoever it lands on, hey, if you trust us with your address, we'll DoorDash Krispy Kreme donuts to your front door. Because I wanted to donate it as well. However, I may just have them sent to my house too. I'm telling you, dude, I used to be chocolate covered cream filled kind of guy. Now I'm just a regular cream filled donuts, dude. Those are unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. So anyway, let's talk draft.
Little glaze, dip it in the coffee in the morning, Clay.
Oh yeah, dude, you kidding me, man? Let's go. All right, so here's what the draft is looking like for 2026. Again, we just talked about Kenny Clark might be gone, right? Who's another one we talked? Jair probably won't be here next year, right? I think we would all agree that's definitely on the table there. So here's how the draft is setting up for next year. I want you to key in on the quarterbacks here. Number 1 overall, and again, these are just consensus big boards. This is going to shift. It's going to adjust. Arch Manning, quarterback out of Texas. Number 2, Garrett Nussmeier, quarterback, LSU. Number 3, defensive lineman T.J. Parker out of Clemson. Number 4, quarterback Cade Klubnik, I think is how you say the name, out of Clemson. Then you got Caden Proctor, offensive tackle out of Bama. Then guess what you got? Drew Allar, quarterback, Penn State. Then you got Lenoris Sellers, quarterback, South Carolina. Like literally, what is that? 6 of the first 7 are quarterbacks? No, 5 of the first 7 are quarterbacks, right? Yeah. And then you got Caleb Downs, who's been the best safety in college football 2 years. When he stepped foot in Alabama his freshman year, he was the best safety in college football. He since took a huge paycheck, went to Ohio State, won a natty. Now he's going to be stepping in the league. Peter Woods, defensive tackle, Clemson. You're seeing Clemson with a pretty good draft class. This is kind of feeling like Ole Miss of last year, right? You're seeing a lot of names here.
Yep.
And then, of course, you've got offensive tackle Francis Muagoa, I think is how you say it, offensive tackle out of Miami. Reuben Bain, edge defender out of Miami in the number 11 spot. Spencer Fano, offensive tackle, Utah. Then you got defensive lineman Keldrick Falk out of Auburn. Anthony Hill Jr., linebacker out of Texas. Jermod McCoy, cornerback out of Tennessee. Isaiah World, offensive tackle out of Oregon. My boy, Jeremiah Love in the 17th spot. Best running back in college football next year. By the way, Notre Dame's got the best running back room in all of college football. You heard it here first.
Heard it from a fan right here.
Caleb Banks, defensive lineman out of Florida in the 18th spot. Danny Dennis Sutton, edge defender out of Penn State in the 19th spot. Avion Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson. Cornell Tate, wide receiver out of Ohio State. LT Overton, edge defender out of Alabama. You got Jordan Tyson, wide receiver out of Arizona State. Antonio Williams, wide receiver out of Clemson. Then you got another quarterback in the first round, Nico Iamaleava with UCLA. Look at Emilio's eyes light up. But he burnt Knoxville to the ground, did he not?
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, he played for Tennessee. He was supposed to be at the spring game. No-showed him for the spring game and announced he was entering the transfer portal. He was making over $2 million from Tennessee. He said he wanted
$4.
And he ended up having to settle for less than $1 million at UCLA after taxes, right, Emilio?
Yeah. I think he settled at 1.8 or 1.9, and then after taxes in California brought him down to like 800 and 900,000.
Yeah.
Oof.
Then you got Mateo, edge defender out of Oregon. Caleb Lomu.
Uiagalelei.
Is that how you say it?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, all right. Caleb Lomu, offensive tackle out of Utah State. Another quarterback in Fernando Mendoza. He's the 28th best prospect out of Indiana, right? Cornerback Malik Muhammad out of Texas. Dylan Thieneman, safety out of Oregon. Nick Singleton, running back out of Penn State. A.J. Harris, cornerback out of Penn State. The reason I want to point that out, the quarterbacks drive the draft class. This is why there were a lot of teams this year, gang, that said, you know what, we'll pass on quarterback this year and we'll just wait till next year. Look at this. You've got 5 quarterbacks projected to go top 10, and then another 6th and 7th with first-round grades, according to the consensus big board as it sits right now.
Who in the hell is Mel Kiper, in a way?
What do you think, Jeff? I see you shaking your head, man.
Yeah, Nico Iamaleava.
Iamaleava.
Get it right, okay?
Dang.
Iamaleava.
It's not going to
send know that, Jacob, because his name is mentioned 30,000 times in sports talk.
Seriously. No, because I heard Ryan say it the first time, and Jacob just said it the Iamaleava.
Right.
You said it the same way. And Jacob, the reason is because that's all I turn on the truck and the radios. Well, Nico's over here. Iamaleava over here.
And down Tennessee, they got that twang to that. Nico Iamaleava. Anyway.
It is kind of unreal. I don't think I've ever seen a draft. It obviously we've seen it how it changes from the beginning of the year once the year's done, and then once the underwear Olympics come into respect or just Mama leave on this stream.
Wasn't Carson Beck? Wasn't he in Georgia?
Yes, he was. So he took a big NIL deal to go to Miami. Here's a little behind college football for you. Carson Beck announced he was transferring from Georgia to Miami, Florida, right, to the University of Miami in Florida. And when he announced that, everybody's going, hold up a minute. He got an offer? The portal wasn't even open yet. That's what's going on in college football. As soon as that happened, that's when Nico found out that Carson Beck, I think, got $5 million to go to Miami. And that's why he went to Tennessee and said, hey, bub, we're going to need $4 million. And Tennessee said, you take that Kirby down the street. We ain't buying it, baby. Get out of here. So he goes to UCLA, gets a little over $1 million after taxes. He's got to settle for like $800,000. Bad move by Papa Iamaleava. It was his dad, by the way. This is the weirdo.
It was. But that is crazy. I mean, Carson Beck being 58th, he could climb very quickly. He's already played in college. He knows where he's going with it. It's cool that you have an Iowa State guy and a UTEP minor. All right, I like that. In the top 150, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
But Greg was asking about me starting up the 26th draft, and yeah, we can, but this is a little too early information from consensus to put into the board is the issue.
Yeah. If we put it into the board right now, it's going to get changed at the end of the college football season is what it comes down to. Right. Because the very first step in building the PTA big board is as soon as the college football season ends, the consensus big board goes in and it stays set. That's the goal there. We got a super chat here from Seth Ruder. Thank you, buddy. He says, off topic, but who would you choose today for the next 5 years, Half or Matt LaFleur? I'm taking Matt LaFleur, but we'll hate losing Halfley one of these years. He is head coach material. That's a great question. I'm going with Matt LaFleur as well, but I've been very, very clear that I want an offensive-minded coach as my head coach. But what do you guys think? If it came down to it and you had to choose, you got to lose one, who would you go for? Would you have Coach Halfley? Would you have Jeff Halfley as your head coach, or would you have Matt LaFleur as your head coach? What do y'all think?
It's got to be Matt for me.
Yeah.
Okay,
go ahead.
So it's unanimous. Got it. I think it's a great question too, Seth. I do, man.
I know what he's asking, because you can see in the demeanor with Hafley, and I think the way that he is a player's coach, but still like a scheme analytical type. It's different because he's on defense, but you seem to see a sort of like, how Matt LaFleur is so great at scheming guys open. On the flip side of that, it seems like Hafley's talent is knowing that what his players are capable of doing and tailoring his offense to fit their tendencies and their abilities. Does that make sense? Because LaFleur is like, I know that what this guy does, I got to scheme him up. Hafley goes, I know what this guy's limitations or maybe what his pluses are, so I got to scheme the defense in this type of way. And you see how he handles press conferences. You see what he did at Boston College. He has the bona fides. I'd be shocked if he's not a head coach in the next 2 to 3 years tops.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
and honestly, I mean, the coaches that have won Super Bowls recently has been a lot of offensive head coaches. It's just the way the NFL is going. It's not that that Hafley can't do it or anything like that. I think he is going to get a chance, but you just see less defensive head coaches. Go ahead and bring that Lombardi home. And on top of that, Hafley's up in the box anyway. He wants to be able to see the whole field. So how often is it, not a head coach not on the sideline as well?
Right. Nah, I think it's a great point. Appreciate the super chat, Seth. That's a good question, man. I understand where you're coming from with Haf. He will be a head coach. There's no doubt in my mind. And it's going to suck when we lose him. Yeah. So, again, we wanted to do this little exercise with the draft because we just talked about the contracts, right? I think we would all agree the one that's most likely not going to be here is probably going to be Kenny Clark. So let's look at defensive tackle. What does it look like? T.J. Parker out of Clemson, number 3. Peter Woods, number 9. He was out of Clemson as well. Keldrick Falk, defensive lineman out of Auburn in the 13 spot. Caleb Banks out of Florida in the 18 spot. Kristen Miller, defensive lineman out of Georgia in the 33 spot. So those are your first round graded defensive tackles.
Peter Woods, crushing it for me in college football. Crushing it. My man he is an inside zone stuffer, let me tell you.
That's what the people want to know. That's what they want to know.
That's exactly what they want to know. Jacob, you always talk about this, Jacob, every draft season, right? Isn't it wild how you've always got multiples at specific programs in the same position group, right? Like T.J. Parker, Peter Woods playing right next to each other. You got Caleb Banks and Tyreek Sapp out of Florida playing right next to each other.
Even look down at DeMonte Capehart at Clemson. Like, that's crazy, dude. That rotation, oof.
And people will say, well, he's in the 73 spot. He peaked at 8. At one point, he was seen as the top 10 type talent. So pretty wild. What's another one? We talked about cornerback, right? That Jair may be gone. If that's the case, you got Jermod McCoy, cornerback out of Tennessee in the 15 spot. Avion Terrell, cornerback out of Clemson. Another Clemson guy. Wow. This seems like the Ole Miss of next year's draft, right? He's in the 20 spot. Then you got Malik Muhammad, cornerback out of Texas in the 29 spot. He peaked at number 9. Then you got A.J. Harris out of Penn State in the 32 spot. So that's how the cornerback room is kind of shaken out right now in terms of the 2026 NFL draft. So what do you guys think will be – let's hit one more position before we move on to the next topic. What do you guys think would be the next position you go? That's probably where we need to look. What comes to mind for you?
I'd say maybe running back or linebacker.
Linebacker, maybe. You'd have Edgerrin Cooper. Will Quay be here? That's the question, right? When you look at linebacker, you got Anthony Hill Jr. out of Texas in the 14 spot. So there's only one linebacker with a first-round grade on. So for me, I'm thinking like maybe offensive line. We're talking about all these, would Elton be back or not? When you look at the interior offensive line, you have nobody in the first round, but the first one coming in at Ahmad Reed Adams, interior offensive lineman out of Texas A&M. If you go to tackle, which we have consistently tried to convert tackles to guards here lately, Caden Proctor in the 5 spot out of Bama, Francis Muagoa in the 10 spot out of Miami, Spencer Fano in the 12 spot out of Utah, Isaiah World out of Oregon in the 16 spot, Caleb Lomu in the 27 spot out of Utah, and those are your guys there. You got Charles Jagat out of Notre Dame coming in at the 55 spot. Go ahead, Jake.
No, I was just going to say I hate to give any credence to it because I don't agree with the sentiment that LDN is going to be busting out like Respect Orange just says. But if he does, And if Rashawn Gary, for whatever reason, is too old or getting up there and he doesn't have a great season, if Brenton Cox ain't absolutely shooting, you know what I mean? Edge actually could be, it could be a need. So can we look at Edge maybe?
Yeah, sure, Jacob. If that's
you're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
It's Friday night.
That's all he's got. It's Friday night. Everybody in the chat's asking for long snapper. Let's hit it, boys. 379. Jake Eldridge out of Rutgers. We got Trey Dubbick in the 388 spot out of South Florida. And listen, boys, you got Ryder Burns. I hardly know. 389 out of Southern Miss. And then this guy right here, you might want to spend a 7th round pick on. He may not be there when you pick in the 7th round or in the 6th round. Or when you go to sign an undrafted free agent, he may not be there. You may want to pull the trigger in the 7th round. You got Lance St. Louis out of Texas in the 561 spot.
I see. That's why I need to get him on the board because sooner or later they're going to be off. They're going to be off before the 26 season starts.
So true. All right, that's it. That's all I got. We're done with the draft. Okay. Again, just want to take a quick glance. I love college football. It's coming up right around the corner. You got summer camps are going to be kicking off, and it's just a lot of fun, kind of getting to know some of those names. And I think we would all agree. You look at those names, you know a few of the quarterbacks. I know a few of the Irish and the Tennessee guys, but you look up and go, who the hell are these guys? The reality is there's going to be a handful of those dudes that end up being absolute superstars in the NFL that we're going to be like, I remember when we covered that. So,
right.
All right. Let's talk about this rule change real quick. I go with you guys. Potential rule change. Also.
Yes.
Jacob, you got to stop looking at the
Jacob
chat.
is just off the rails. This is what happens.
What's new, right? All right. So I want you guys to help me with this chat. You all always do a great job explaining stuff to my dumb redneck self. So here's what Ari Miroff pointed out about the NFL owners are going to do a vote next week. Okay. Significant NFL owners will vote next week on a proposal to change the playoff seeding format where teams would be seeded strictly by regular season record rather than automatically awarding the top 4 seeds to division winners. This was per Albert Breer. All right. So here's some more details on it. If teams have the same record, a division title would serve as the first tiebreaker, not head to head. All right. After the first round, teams would be reseeded. So the number 1 seed always plays the lowest remaining seed. And then the other point here is the NFL wants to increase late season competitiveness and excitement and reduce teams resting starters in week 17 and 18. I love that last part. If that's the ultimate goal, great. I want to get your all's take on it because the big argument's been if somebody plays in a weak division and they win that division, then they're going to get a first round. Do they get a first round bye now? They definitely get the host.
Yeah.
It's not a first round bye, right?
Yeah.
So they'll get the host that playoff game. I can kind of see the argument of, listen, just because you played in a weak division doesn't mean you should get, special treatment over someone who had a much better record. Am I wrong there, or do you guys see that the same way?
I do kind of like it, but then the whole thing of after the first round, teams would be reseeded. So the number 1 seed always
that's the weird part, right?
That's the one where it's like, I look at the third bullet point and the NFL wants to increase late season competitiveness. I like that. I don't understand how the second bullet point gets you to the third. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. It's like, yeah, the Saints went 8-8. They won their division. Congrats. You get to host a first, playoff home. I get that we don't necessarily want that. I'm glad that Greg Rice, whoever highlighted that, thank you, because that's one I wanted to bring up too.
Yes.
To me, I would just leave it alone. I feel like lately we've made so many, I feel like major NFL tweaks in the last 10 years that it's starting to kind of like, how do you start keeping stats? How do you start comparing guys from, you know what I mean? It's a totally different ball game now. It really is. I'm get off my lawn. I'm the old guy.
Yeah. Well, I'm standing on your lawn, Jacob. To the second bullet point question.
You got to cut it somehow, Emilio.
Hey, I'm pretty good at it. I'll cut the grass. But it isn't number 2 already happening anyway? Like, doesn't 1 always play 7 or one would play 5 if they go on and win it? Is it like
technically, yeah, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? Like I thought I was the only one that was losing my mind here. Like, let's think about this. The way the playoffs are set up right now, the lowest, the the highest seed always plays the lowest, right? That's how it's set up.
First one gets a bye, 2 plays 7.
So after the first round, teams would be reseeded. So the number 1 seed always plays the lowest remaining seed. That's how it is, right? Well,
but do they mean that? Do they mean by number 1 the highest ranked person in that? You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like, let's say the.
Well, no, but the number 1 would have already had a bye, is what I'm saying. Say you went 15-1, you would have already had the bye. You're already into the second round, and then you're reseeding everybody else that got through, but you already had a seed for them beforehand.
Yeah,
I'm with you. That second part went way over my head. I don't know.
I think it's a double negative sort of thing.
So Brambo says they reseed based on record. Is that what they're saying there?
So it's not the initial ranking of the.
If that's the case, Brambo, and you may be correct, this is poorly worded by Ari Mirov, right?
Right. Yeah.
Again, I think the most important aspect of this, I don't want to get too far into the weeds or bogged down by it too much, but to me, the most important part is I like that it's not about just winning the division, right? Now, I love that the tiebreaker comes in. Like, hey, if you got 2 teams with the same record, the one who won their division deserves to be the higher seed. I get that, right? So I kind of like what they're trying to do here, man, for sure. Now, here's the other thing, and we'll go ahead and hit it since we marked it here, Jacob. Greg Rice says no draft lottery either. Man, that draft lottery talk is strange. It is so strange. The NFL is king for a reason. The NFL smokes the NBA's ass in ratings and everything they do.
When Ryan said those numbers today, that blew my mind.
Yeah, I was shocked.
So, and listen, we got to meet Greeny, right? We got to meet Mike Greenberg at the restaurant, right? Talk to him and Peter Schrager for a second. I think Greeny is an awesome dude. When I heard that video that Ryan played or audio that Ryan played on his podcast, I wanted to slap the taste out of his mouth. I'm like, there's nothing about what you're saying that makes sense. Right? Jacob, did you hear that pod by chance?
Yes, I did. 100%.
It's insane. Like, you're basically saying the first overall pick should go to someone with the luck of the draw of a ping pong ball.
Mm-hmm.
What are you talking about? The reason the NFL is so good at parity is because every single year, the worst team in the league is kind of propped up to go, okay, we're going to help you build your team faster than everybody else. And that's why you got like the Dolphins way back now. What was it, 2010, where the Dolphins were the worst team in the league, and the very next year they won their division? That's how these teams can have a quick turnaround. If you get to the point where it's okay, we're going to take the top 10 or top 5 worst teams, and then we'll put ping pong balls in, and we'll see who gets the luck of the draw. It literally, as Ryan was talking about it, I try to be like rational about things. I try to be like, maybe what am I missing here? Because I'm stupid. I'm a dumb redneck hick. Things go over my head all the time, and I'm going, what's the there is nothing positive that comes out of this. And what it seems like to me is everybody who loves the NBA, it's like they try to prop that up and make it seem as if the NFL should take things from it. And that's the farthest freaking thing from the truth, in my opinion. So what's your all's take on it? Because I'm not going to lie, man, it kind of pissed me off. Like, y'all better not screw this up.
Yeah. It made me physically angry because they're like, yeah, we want to copy what the NBA is doing. What the NBA that's losing viewership faster than you can even shake a stick at, because one, they're putting their primetime games on networks that nobody has, or they don't know where to find them. A la what has the NFL done in the last 5 years? They spread it out to like 7 different networks, so you got to have a subscription to watch every game. That's real smart. Then what are they going to do? The NBA took the physicalness out of it. You watch LeBron James flop like a fish anytime somebody touches his little tiny bald head and he hits the ground.
I thought he was going to say something else there. Oh, Lord. Go ahead.
And what's the next thing they do? They want to take the draft. Let's have ping pong balls do that. What are you doing? The next thing they're going to do is they're going to say, let's start making so we have all-star teams like the Lakers. Let's just have everybody go to the Patriots. We'll have everybody go there. We can sign them out the wazoo. It won't even be fun to watch football anymore. And great, yeah, it'll be awesome. It's the dumbest idea I've ever heard of.
It really is, man. It's like it made no sense, Emilio.
Yeah, I mean, you put a little bit of lead in that one ping pong ball that you want to end at the bottom, and we're good to go. You roll that thing a couple times, wait for it, open the hatch, and we're good to go. I'll take the pay.
Emilio, I am not bald. Record.
Look at Jacob. My man.
That's
You got a little salt up there, though, don't you?
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks a little. Why don't you go
she's
ahead
just
more
lying.
often?
Might be the
Dave?
lie.
That's-
Might be
She's
the
great, baby, but she still plays.
No, but I mean for real, that's brutal. That what Ryan was saying is true, man. Every time you hear somebody complaining about NBA, it's people that like watching NBA and they're just mad at what they're getting. I mean, I think that what they've done, the amount of work that they put into just to be able to get the last team, the worst team, even if you have 5 teams that are the same record, we're going to go by your point differential. We're going to go by, whatever we can narrow it down to find out, like, you were basically the worst team possible last year. How can we help you? Hey, you get a chance to get Travis Hunter or Abdul or, the number 1 quarterback because you were 3-15 last year. So, like, I mean, I don't see why switching it to a lottery where potentially the Philly can go ahead and just get the first or third pick, whatever it is, however it works. I don't like it.
I need 2-0 for this says that dude just kept repeating tanking as if he was trying to play some psychological game to make us believe it's a thing. That's the thing too, is like tanking in the NFL is not a thing. It's not. When was the last time a team tanked for the first pick? And show me proof of it. Because I remember back when the Giants were thinking about sitting their starters going in the playoffs, which that happens pretty regularly now. But I remember when it was Tom Coughlin said, we're playing our guys. And he went out and played their guys, even though they had nothing to gain for week 17. Back then, there was only 17 weeks. Week 17, they had nothing to gain. And he said he got a phone call from John Madden, a voicemail from John Madden. Coach Madden called him and was like, I cannot tell you how proud I am of you guys. Thank you so much. The second that we don't have competition, we don't have a game anymore.
Yep.
And now we're talking about a damn ping pong ball floating around in a machine, and that's going to decide who gets the first overall pick. Like, what are you even? It makes no sense, man. It makes no sense. 2-0 for this says Jacob has the Kimbo slice. Love it. Little shout out there to Kimbo. Rest in peace. Brambo says, how do you look like Clayton's older brother and his younger brother at the same time? Put that hat on.
Okay.
Okay. Oh man, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's just it's really strange. Like, I remember the tank for Tua talk, right? That was the whole thing. Tank for Tua, tank for Tua. I don't know. It's not an issue. If a team is that bad, if 2 teams are that bad and they want to tank for a player, I could give a rat's. And nobody's worried about that anyway, right? I don't think it's happening personally, but if it does, who cares? I'll tell you what. I'm okay with that. Let's play along with Greeny. Let's pretend like tanking does happen for the number 1 overall pick. Okay, awesome, cool. I would much rather watch 2 teams flop around on the field and act like a couple jackasses and get a good laugh out of it than to see us try to build up this big event as if we're going to put 5 ping pong balls in a machine, spin that sucker around and go, woo, we got the number 1 pick. Mm-hmm. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Stupidest thing.
Yeah.
So, and again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The NFL is king for a freaking reason. Keep it the same.
Just imagine the audacity of, all right, we're going to the draft night. Everybody's watching. They got their popcorn. And with the first pick, the ping pong tells me the Philadelphia Eagles get the first pick in the NFL draft. It's like, what are you
talking
that's what's
about?
Fair? Bruh, whatever you're smoking, Emilio wants a lot of it.
2-0.
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
2-0 for this says, when was the last time a number 1 pick legit changed a franchise that is perennial at the top of the draft? Exactly. It's a great point. Great point. Let's see here. Draft. I think J. Cole said this a couple times here. Draft lottery is rigged. Dallas trades their star player and has like a 1% chance to get the first pick, and now they are picking number 1.
Oh, you guys, if we had the conspiracy music, this would be the time. You can look back now the last 7, I believe it's the last 6 or 7 years, every single major signing that went to the big teams, whether it was like Bosch, that's not the same thing, but it still works. When it was LeBron, when it was Luka, when it was all these guys, enter the guy there, that team the next year had the number 1 pick in the draft. And like J. Cole said, it was like a minus 5% chance it would happen.
Crushed it.
Match that.
Minus 5% chance. That is unbelievable to think, though. Like, you go ahead and you trade this star player, 1% chance is always going to land on the 1%, right? You're just never going to be. That's like when you're opening a pack. They convince you, Clay, to buy the pack to make your team better. It's like, oh, you got a 55% chance of getting a 98, bro. I got a 92 out of that pack. What are we doing here? Like, and that's I mean, that's what it is. It's like it seems like we're chasing after that, buy to play, pay to play, pay to win sort of mentality. We don't need that in sports.
I just realized Mandy and I just celebrated our 19th anniversary. And the only regret that I have with our marriage is that we didn't have our first dance to the Home Depot theme song. I'm just telling you right now. That song is a banger, dude. Is it not a banger, man?
It really is.
Yeah. Loki, I'm pretty proud that we actually cut that the way we just did there, because if that's not going on the YouTubes, I don't know what is.
Well, that'll probably get us canceled, to be honest with you. That's usually how that works. I told you, either they're going to sponsor the show or I'm going to get sued. One of the two, nothing in between. So,
sponsor the show.
All right. Anything else we want to hit on, boys? Anything else?
Shows tomorrow.
Greg Rice says remove the garter to the Home Depot theme song. Anyway, go ahead, Jacob.
Are you doing a morning show by chance, or are we just doing an evening show tomorrow?
It'll just be an evening show tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
With the lack of content right now. So, but Jacob, what we'll do, since you're going to be in here with me and Emilio's taking the weekend off, we're going to do the Baron Sorrell Chalk Talk tomorrow.
Oh,
let's dive into it.
So just a heads up, guys, that means if you do not have a Rumble account, go ahead and create one tonight. Go find the Packers Total Access account, which is, by the way, the #1 Packers account on Rumble right now, which is pretty impressive, because tomorrow we are going to be doing a Chalk Talk, which means we can't do it on YouTube because they are commies.
There you go. Well, I don't know about that last part. I said there you go.
On my knee.
We're going to give him some.
We respectfully disagree there, Jacob, okay? So, all right, here's
hopefully you have subscribers and a channel tomorrow, and
hopefully everything's still intact tomorrow. Now, what we're going to do, though, we'll be live on YouTube, we'll be live on X, Rumble, everything like we normally are. And then when we get ready to do the Chalk Talk, like Jacob was saying, we'll give you guys a good 10-minute heads up. All right, let's go ahead. Let's get over to Rumble. Let's get over to X, whichever one you prefer. And we'll continue with the Chalk Talk. And what I'll do later, here's what's crazy about this whole situation. Afterwards, I can edit that video out of the download, and I can do a quick little copyright check, and then we can upload it to YouTube, no problem.
bang.
The problem is their AI detects stuff.
They did that to us. Yeah.
On the live stream, they detect stuff on the live stream, and once they trigger the copyright and somebody claims it, you're screwed. It's just really weird. And again, it's just lack of communication. So 2-0 for this says y'all should be sponsored by farmersonly.com. So there you go. You don't have to be lonely at farmersonly.com.
Emilio, are you too young to remember that?
That's a yes.
Yeah.
No, I mean I remember it, but yeah, didn't. AOL. You've got mail is kind of where I was.
All right.
We're out of here, guys. Appreciate everybody hanging out with us again. I'm excited about the partnership with Mac. And Absolutely. We're going to, like I said, get that cranked up. And everybody, if you want to support a great cause. And it looks like we got multiple people in there now. Appreciate Kyle Bessa and Bates. Everybody, let's get that cranked up. I'm going to make my donation here over the weekend, talk with Mandy, and we're going to try to do something to help out there as well. It's just a really awesome organization. Got a bunch of giveaways coming up. Tomorrow, remind me, Jacob, we'll do an autographed Dontavion Wicks jersey giveaway for our Patreon community.
Nice.
Okay? This giveaway is going to be for the Patreon community. So if you're hearing my voice, you want to support the show, scan that QR code in the upper right or go to patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access, okay? You join there, the cheap $3 tier. That gets you access to everything on the site, exclusive content from us. The Chalk Talks are all uploaded there. But more importantly, it also gets you put into the giveaways. We'll take everybody who's at least a $3 tier member, put them on the wheel tomorrow night, spin that sucker, and give away an autographed Dontavion Wicks jersey to whoever's name it lands on. All right?
Took it down.
And me and Emilio are eligible.
We are eligible. No, we are 100% eligible. Every time Clayton tries to say we're not eligible is incorrect.
Correct. Listen, this is not a democracy here, okay?
I'll get a lawyer.
No, that thing lands on my name. I'm driving up there and taking my jersey.
Jacob, you didn't pay your last lawyer. All right, I ain't trying to hear that.
I'm well versed in bird law.
Hey,
I don't want to know what that means.
Chat will.
I'm sure they will. A bunch of degenerates.
Jacob knows that birds recharge on the telephone wires. That's why they have to land there.
Here in Boston, we're talking about that on McAfee show. It's unbelievable, man. Just saying. All right,
boy.
All right, we good? Are we good? Did we lose all credibility here in the last 10 minutes? So y'all
this
happy
show
now?
sucks.
It sucks bad. So anyway, everybody have a great night. Appreciate y'all. We'll see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central for PTA Live. Have a wonderful evening. As always, let's go out and be the change we want to see in the world and go Pack.
And we go. We out.
Bye, guys.